Welcome to the Unconditional Podcast. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us today. This is where we empower entrepreneurs to overcome trauma, to become set in their true identity, and to keep healthy boundaries in life. And we do all this by sharing real and raw stories and expert secrets. I'm your host, Rabbi Michael Schoening. Our first sponsor today is Planet Duct, Southern Colorado's best air duct cleaning company. They clean my home's air ducts and dryer vents. They're also certified by the National Air Duct Cleaners Association. When it comes to your family's lung health, hire the best. Check them out today at planetduct.com. My guest today is the one and only, the awesome Gordon Brodecki. Thank you so much for being a guest on the show today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be on. I can't wait to share the story, and wherever it goes. So let's have at it, brother.
Absolutely. So obviously we can see your shirt. You know, Gordon is with Garage Fitness, but I didn't meet you in the fitness arena. I met you in at the Ultimate Speaker competition, and as you know, Michelle Mraz kind of signed me up for this thing. I told this story before, and I was like, I'm not making it past the first round. This is stupid. And she's like, don't you speak? And I realized I speak on stage in front of people 60 times a year, being a rabbi and traveling and doing different things. And she's like, you're going to do great. I know you. It's just do it. I didn't know who Christoph was. I didn't know who you were. I didn't know the other judges. I didn't know Michael Butler. I didn't know any of these guys. I like the Antlers Hotel. I'm pretty sure it's downtown somewhere, right? Yeah. And she signs me up, and I get there, and then I see you, and I'm like, man, I need to keep on it. I'm like, I'm not as fit as I need to be. And I met you, and you just seemed like, you were at the night before at the mining exchange, right? Yeah. And I didn't know who you are. You were just a really friendly, approachable guy. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna talk to this guy, whatever. I didn't know you were one of the judges. And I don't think you told me the night before. And I'm just talking, blah, blah, blah. And the next day I see you and some of the other people, and I'm like, they're judging me in this thing I'm very uncomfortable about. I didn't know that last night. I'm just talking to them like they're regular people. It took me a while to figure out you guys are also regular people, but man, I was so excited.
A regular person, right?
Yeah. I was so excited to win second place on that thing, but to be able to see you in that professional format, and then with Power Team, and then the different things that you do. One thing that I don't know a lot about is Garage Fitness, and I'm super excited. And Gordon, tell me, tell us what project has really been keeping you busy lately.
Well, my project that's keeping me busy currently right now is I'm working on a project called the Invincible Warrior Challenge for men. And it's for men who feel lost, frustrated. They just feel like they gave up on life. Maybe they're entrepreneurs that have the money, but they're falling apart in other parts of their life. Maybe it's their marriage, their loved ones, their health, their fitness. Because without your health, you don't have anything, right? I remember a guy walked up to Gary Vaynerchuk, if everybody knows who Gary V is. Yeah. And he goes, oh, how important is health? He's like, oh, if you don't have health, you're dead, right? Yeah. You're dead. Yeah. You don't have your health, you're dead. So I'm working on that challenge to help other men, older men. I'm saying between the ages of 35 and up, but even younger men too, right? I think masculinity has taken a back seat, and I'm trying to recapture that for them so they can understand and sit in that power. And then when they sit in that power, they can become a better person for themselves. They get a healthier version of themselves. Yeah. It's actually the one thing that can help out with relationships, with friendships. It's a beautiful thing when you take care of yourself. Then what will happen is a snowball effect. Because if you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of anybody else. So that's what I'm currently working on. The Garage Fitness itself has actually been around for the last 10 years. That started because I'll tell you that story real quick. I worked for a place called Bally Total Fitness. And when I got into the fitness industry over 25 years ago, right? I worked there for about 10 years, but I worked at a couple other gyms too, mom and pop gyms. Yeah. And if I get into that, but if I even flash back even further, how I got my foot in the door is I went to this gym called Elite Fitness. It's how I started my fitness journey, right? And I went to the guy, and this is why I tell this part of the story, because it's so important. Yeah. Because it's called work ethic. And I think what we do it in today's day and age is a lot of people, they don't have that drive, or that would get up and they give up too easily. There's no jobs, there's this, you can't get. So that mentality, I would have flipped that around, right? Yeah. So this is old school. So I went to the gym. There was no cell phones back then. I worked I worked around the corner, and I was a dishwasher. I was the best damn dishwasher. I put all my energy into that. My dad told me that work ethic. So, but my friend said, there's a gym around the corner. I know you want to get your foot in the door, because I've worked out since the age of 13. I'm in my early 20s at this point. So I went to the gym. This guy, Lou's standing there. Lou, I walk in. He's not really hiring, but I just say, I want to work here. He says, well, I'm not hiring anybody right now. So I go back and I go again. Right? What this story sounds very familiar, right? Anybody know Les Brown? So I went back again. It's the same. I think I didn't even know who Les Brown was, by the way, back then. So I go in and I confront him again, and he goes, "Well, what makes you special?" And I tell him, I want to get my foot in the door. I just want to just get in the gym and just had the feeling of being in the gym. So he turns me away again. Finally, third time I go back, he's like, "You know what? You got the job, and if you come in early on these days." Well, because I'm going to be away, and you can actually log into the gym. I'll pay an extra $1 early. I think it was like $6-7 or something. Nothing big, right?
Yeah.
So what happened is I ended up working there. He would go on trips to Thailand. He'd come back, and I'd be running the whole gym. I'd be selling memberships. I would clean the gym. I'd take phone calls, selling drinks. Eventually, I started my own personal training program. He actually walked up to me and asked when he saw me doing that. It wasn't part of the curriculum. And I started picking it up that way because I always wanted to be a personal trainer and help out people. Fast forward, he let me do that, and then he sold the gym. When he sold the gym to the couple, they really couldn't afford to keep me on. I ended up working as an environmental technician for about 2 months from a guy that came to the gym. And because I was trying to switch fields, I'm thinking I'll try this out. Absolutely hated it, Michael. There was no GPS. I had a 64.5 Mustang. It's overheating. I'm going to New York. I'm losing my way. I'm working around oil refineries. I'm getting sick. And then I thought to myself, like, I don't want to do this. I hate it. So
it's got to be something better.
Yeah, it's got to be something better. So I went back into personal training. And what I found out, Michael, was sometimes you got to do the things that you don't like to do to find out the things that you do love to do. And I went back into my passion, which is personal training. And the first year, I killed it. And I'm 24 years old. You have to get all your own clients. You have to walk up to them and you have to have a conversation with them. So it wasn't all mind space. So I went from making 0 to 45 first year, then 60, then 72, plus another. I was starting, and this is at 24 years old. We're talking years and years and years ago. And what ended up happening, I worked there for 10 years. One day, flying back from Jamaica, my sister's wedding. We did have cell phones by this point.
Flip phones, right?
It was the one. They didn't have the screen, touch screen. It had the one where you flip it open. And
like a BlueBerry type.
A little bitty computer. So
some people watching are going to have no idea what we're talking about. Buttons on phones? We're lucky we didn't have dial-up still. So it's foreign language, man, to some people.
We're flying back, and now, I didn't tell you, I was under contract to buy a house. I'm raising a daughter. I'm just thinking of all the variables here. And I'm flying back, and they get a call, and all these messages come through, because you know how you don't see anything till you land? Da-ding. A PT director, we had a PT director that overseeing all the personal trainers at Valley Total Fitness, tells me that they sold the gym to LA Fitness.
Jeez.
What's that mean? Well,
that means for you,
for me,
your clients.
$40 an hour plus commission to making $8 a half hour. I pay that to and all my clientele were still my clients, but I wasn't getting paid the same anymore. So what happened is now I'm making minimum wage, and I'm buying under contract to buy this house, and I'm like, I got to do something. So a year passes, and I remember I didn't have the cojones to think of the best word for it.
You say chutzpah.
That is to move on to start my own business. But what happened was fate had happened. What happened was they laid me off because they wanted a different certification. See, they were getting rid of everybody. That was kind of their plan. Let's get rid of everybody out of here. So what ended up happening, I was like, you know what? I got to start my own business. I got to do something. And I started working out of my brother's backyard while I was renovating this house I'm living in currently right now. So what ended up happening, is I moved into this house once it was done, and opened up the gym. But at my brother's house,
Yep.
when I did it, he said, "Why do you call it Garage Fitness?" Jokingly, and then I was
Yeah.
like, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
So I got all my clients, and when they fired me from LA Fitness, that there was people that were still with me. And what I did is it's a really strategic move I did. I had a feeling they were going to get rid of me. And what I did was I said, okay, I'll honor every session that we have left, because we did packages back then.
Sure.
I said, just pay me every other session until they're up, and then we'll renegotiate.
Yeah.
Dude, I just brought people in and then new people. And then what I did was I opened up a Garage Fitness out of my backyard. I don't know if you can see the original logo, but I have an original logo, and everything evolved. And we were talking about this earlier, me and Michael. We were just talking about my original logo, and we're talking about Spider-Man and how he came up with the original suit.
Let's see. There it is.
There it is, right there.
Right there.
I was so confused on the StreamYard. So just like you said, Tony Stark's made him the suit, and then I went out and I hired a team, and then you had that team around you. That's where the new logo came from. And for the last 10 years, I've been working out of my backyard, and I opened up a gym called Garage Fitness, and I learned how to be sufficient for myself and have a career where I can be home for a family,
right.
and pay off bills and have a little to no overhead. But it didn't stop there.
Yeah.
This is where the story gets really interesting. I'm doing well. And what I realized, as well as I was doing, something wasn't moving the needle. I felt stuck.
Yeah.
And this is what the whole part of the Invincible Warrior Challenge, one of the parts, I'm sitting there, I'm on the couch, I'm like, is this all there is?
Yeah.
Because you have to have a purpose. There's got to be some kind of meaning.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking to myself, I was having these weird nightmares. I kept taking naps and stuff. I'm like, why am I having nightmares? And it's because sometimes, no matter where you're at in life, if you're not leveling up, then you're going to get stuck and feel lost. So what I did, I decided to write this book called The Ultimate You.
Nice.
Change your mindset, change your body. It's kind of hard to see.
It's all right. I need one of those. I need to copy that.
And there it is on the back. There's me on the back. My daughter actually took that picture in my basement with the same light I have here. Camera.
Dude, I'll be honest, like starting, like I was telling you, I'll just say it before we even went live. Like I bought these podcast headphones. They look so good. I was so excited. I'm gonna put them on real quick. I was super excited to get them. I'm like, look at this. It's gonna be a real deal podcast. I have this. I'm never gonna use it because I'm using this with a pop blocker, and I put the head jack in, and it doesn't fit in my laptop. And it was like, because the head jack, I need the adapter. And it's like, what? It's like I can get so upset over that little thing, or I can just go with the flow and just make things happen. Every one of my podcasts, I got my banners right now. Everything is developing. You're the fifth episode, fourth interview, and I've got 2 paid sponsors as of yesterday, and it's insane. I've been talking about a podcast for a year and a half, and I'm like, well, what about sponsors? What about the program? What about I don't really like StreamYard is a great program, but I don't want their logo there. How do I get my logo up there? I haven't even figured all this out yet. I'm like, I'm just going to do it.
Right.
I'm just going to do it and figure it out. And if people don't like it, they're going to go somewhere else, and that's okay.
Right. You know what will happen? And I think this is the really interesting thing. You see people like Joe Rogan. You see, you can see people like Andrew Tate. As much as you might love him or hate him, you'll see people like that. But they all started from somewhere, like in the beginning, where you see an overnight success, and you're like, and it's not an overnight success. And then they can go back and look at your older stuff, and they'll look at that. Like, don't go back and look at your older stuff because they like you now, right? And they see your newer stuff, but it's so polished. But you can see all the raw stuff, like you said, with the headphones and the StreamYard thing up here in the corner.
It's right there. There's a duck on your screen.
I think I'm holding it, but
flick it away.
Yeah, I can't get rid of it though.
Yeah.
So I mean, you have to pay for that to get rid of that. Is that what it is, or it just stays up there?
I don't even know yet, man. I am excited about hearing people's stories of overcoming themselves and doing something great. Like that's my thing. I want to hear stories. Like everything you're saying is like I'm gonna re-listen to this over and over and over. I re-listen to all my podcasts and all my guests. But I mean, obviously you've overcome some stuff. You you were in a business where you had everything going for you, and then the rug was pulled from under your feet, and what you became is what I call an unconditional entrepreneur. Of course, entrepreneur means someone who's willing to carry the weight, which is funny because you're, lifting weights. But but it's you didn't say I'm no longer in the fitness industry because they sold and I'm losing all my clients. You shifted, you got creative, and you said I'm still a trainer. I'm going to open up my garage. I'm going to have people over. Like, I'm going to give them they're going to figure out a deal with the money part. I'm still there for them. What you showed your clients too is no matter the system that you were working under, it's more important that relationship between you and them. And that was the vehicle for their success, not because they were under LA Fitness or I forget the other gym it was, but it's like, it was you and them in that relationship. And I think that really shows that you are an unconditional entrepreneur. But I want to hear, what are some healthy boundaries you've had to create and sustain to really protect your personal life, your mental life, family life from work, and work from all personal stuff?
Well, that's a great question because I made a lot of mistakes along the way. There was times when I didn't
Same.
have boundaries, Michael. I'm not going to get too deeper with that, but because I didn't have them, a lot of pain came with it, with me and other people in my life. And what I've learned through that process, and still learning to this day, and I don't think we ever stop learning, or we should never stop learning if you want to keep growing.
That's right.
Was that I had to create boundaries. And the more I create boundaries, what I've learned is I have better relationships because of it. And that's one of the most important things I've taken away from that. And I'm talking about relationships with friends. Well, I've always been a good relationship with friends, but more so the relationship with the women in my life. So those boundaries, and I think about it when we were kids. I think a lot of times we had this little that I call the man child. And this is a part of what I'm trying to teach you men, is that we have this man child in us, and there's that voice that tells us this. It doesn't have boundaries. The man child gets angry in traffic. The man child road rages. The man child says, you know what, I'm not doing this project today because who's going to tell me to do it? I'm an entrepreneur. I can do whatever I want. That's the man child.
That's
so
right.
that's that little kid in your head. But you don't have to not embrace the little kid. The little kid can still be good. He still can have fun in all this. It's the bratty one, the immature one. So you get it when that comes up. You got to you got to say to yourself, how do I get out of this? How do I be positive today? What can I do to be positive today? And it's not just like positivity, because I hear it all the time. It's such a buzzword. Like, so I can dive into all that, right? But the positivity part, you have to get into it and to embrace that, as understand that's there, but say, what can I do instead of acting out? And be aware of it when it's coming in. When you have this feeling, that uneasy feeling, because we were emotional beings.
Yeah.
I was just talking to Peter, and we were talking about being successful and the process of things. It's the process actually is really simple. If I got a computer and say, here's the algorithm, put it all in, and this it becomes successful, right? That computer would take off and do its thing, and there'd be no problem, right?
Yeah.
The difference is we're emotional.
That's
we're
right.
Emotional beings. I don't care if you're man or woman, you have emotions. There's days when you're down, there's days when you're up, the mood's in and out. And you had the process now is difficult because you got to work through moods. It's not hard. It's easy. The process. It's the emotions attached to the process.
Gordon, I'm so excited. I mean, we're out of time now, but man, I'm so excited. You have so much to bring to the Unconditional community and tribe. And speaking of Peter Lynch, he is our second sponsor, specifically with this program, Unshakable. It is a coaching course that is called an Elite Mastermind for men. And it's specifically a coaching course for men to really work on those things that we were just talking about. And partnering with Peter is going to be really powerful with that. So you can go ahead and his link will be included in the description. I want you guys to check his website out. Also check out Garage Fitness. And I want to thank you, Gordon, for being a part of this thing, this movement, and really bringing a lot to the people. Will you be on the show again?
Yes, I will. But before I go, my challenge is coming up November 28th. It's a 21-day challenge for men. if you want to jump right into it, I also have that program too, which is the core offer, the Invincible Warrior Challenge, Unleash the Ultimate You in 21 days. And I'm really excited about this because now I'm really speaking and aligning with my power, who I am, and really helping others out, men. I want to create a safe space for men, not just call a safe space, a space where men can speak what they want to speak, share their stories, share their what's going on inside them, and then at the same time become a warrior.
I'm personally going to be looking at that program too. So it's something that I would definitely like to promote. Is that on your website?
We're building that right now. We're getting everything all together because, as you know, everything's a process. So as we work it, we actually moved the program up a little bit more. So we did a couple of weeks to define everything and put all the graphics and make it really look nice, so that when people log onto this, because people are visual, 85% of what we see is visual. That way they know what they're getting themselves into. Because it's a tangible. Then it looks. Then you can see it. And they can attach something to that. And then I bring me. That's what they get. They get me. They get the community. They get Garage Fitness, Invincible community. So that's all going to be part of it. And then if you get the one-on-one coaching, which is actually what deep dive what me and you were talking about, that's when we really do the work. And that program, you're going to be a totally different person by the end of the year. It's a year program. That's what I'm working on.
That's cool. I'm excited, man. And maybe in a couple of weeks, when that's up and running, we need to do another podcast and really get deep and let people know what this is going to give them, what it's going to do for them, what results they can expect. So I appreciate you, Gordon, and I'm excited for that.
Thank you so much, Michael.
Thank you, everybody else. Thank you for liking, following, subscribing, all the things. Check us out at imunconditional.com. And thank you for following the Unconditional Podcast. We'll see you next time.